Are you able to hear me now? Economy runs on only two parallel things. One is the economy above ground, which is agriculture. Right? And second is economy below ground, which is mining. All other industries that you see are a product of these two, either each one of them or a mix of them. There is no other industry which is either not derived out of agriculture or not derived out of mining. So while many other sectors say their contribution to GDP, finally you can say apart from agriculture, which may be say 10%, 90% is due to mining only. And we all should feel proud of that fact. That is what everything that you see around is because of mining. Third sector, which is a service, which either makes our life simpler, makes our work simpler, or appeals to the sensibilities of human beings. Something, you want to look good, you want to travel, you want to enjoy life, tourism, all that is the third industry. And fourth industry, what I call funny money, is something which is not there, something which does not have a production, does not have a product, does not have a P&L account, does not really have any business, but only it has a promise of future. So all the things that are sold on footfalls, websites, apps, something that is not making money now, not even making money for last 10 years, but in some distant future it is supposed to have a huge valuation, and hence people invest and make money, which is to me is a funny money that is there in the economy. Otherwise, if it's a solid money, we are there. Then comes the automation, digitalization. Automation is very well understood. Digitalization is where the confusion lies. If I know pressure immediately on a real-time basis, is it digitalization or automation? To me, it is nothing but automation. Right? When I say digitalization, you have to ask yourself, when any consultant comes and tells you that by digitalizing will improve by this and this, ask yourself the question first, in my operation, either lack of information or lack of timely information, if any of these two conditions is slowing me down in productivity or reducing my efficiency of operation, then and then only there is a scope of digitalization. It has to make either information available which is not available. I am very carefully choosing the word information and not choosing the word data. If it makes data available, it's a case of automation. If it makes information available, which is a synthesis of data, and then behind the data, the insight, then only I will call it digitalization. And then timely availability, that is, I get it when I need it. Most of the people will propose to you that when you come to office, your table will have a dashboard of all things happening in your place. Imagine you are a healthy human being. Suppose in front of your eyes there is a dashboard which tells you what is happening inside your body. 20% of food is now digested, it is taking 10 minutes to digest further food, your blood pressure is this, rate of blood pressure going on this. Will you feel happy or will you feel unduly worried? Dashboard is not digitalization, that is something all of us need to take it out of our mind. Simply by making data available in front of the eyes does not force you to improve things. The insight from the data, if it comes in real time, that is somebody who tells me that your stomach is already full, don't eat for next 5 hours. That to me is digitalization. Is something that tells me before touching the food, please don't touch it, your calorie for the day is already 2000, you don't need any more calorie for the day. The guy who is operating is exactly told that okay, you have a range of changing the temperature from say 1500 degrees centigrade to 1700 degrees centigrade. If you go beyond, there will be problem. If you fall below, there will be problem. Maintain it between the two. And that's digitalization. We must always seek where timely information or availability of information which is beyond data is available to us, and that is only we are using it. Where in mining does it help? We all saw during Shah Commission period what happened. That mine boundaries itself was vague because there was a huge dispute, because the mine boundaries was based on manual records on chain survey, and now the Google map has come, GIS come, and when somebody is transposing these two, he is finding either the mines have exceeded the lease boundary or it has gone into somebody else's lease, right? With that problem we had. So there is a question of timeliness and quality of information available about the boundary line itself. That again another problem within that also, when you go to settle surface rights and all that, you discover the maps owned by the people who claim it to be their land are not matching with the government records of land that the government has. The record that is given to is not matching with the ownership papers people are showing. So there is a lack of digital information there.
Request our friends from media to capture this moment. Thank you so much.
I think Mr. Mishra made some very important points, and I could not agree with those observations. And while I think automation, digitalization, technology is being used very interchangeably, not only in the context of mining but in other industries as well. But there's clearly a pressing need for us to dig deeper into it and understand the nuances of each of these words that we're talking about. So clearly, I think there's a need to understand it much more deeply and not be carried away by the sort of buzzwords of these technologies and automations. Secondly, I think I could not agree more with Mr. Mishra when he says that these emerging technologies and automation tools have to speak to the business outcomes, right? So whether it is enhancing productivity or making you environmentally more compliant or creating a much more safer environment. So these technologies have to enable those business outcomes, and they need not be pursued just for the sake of it.
We capture this moment in our lenses. Thank you.
Mishra ji really delved into a lot of technical aspects, and then Satnam Singh ji, when he furrowed into the mining sector in detail and how the technology can provide us dividend, but not much remains to be said. I just try to speak something which are very generic and general in nature. One thing is very clear, that we are in a stage, we are in a world where technology, innovation, skills are playing a very, very important role. They are driving growth. And technology is growing exponentially, which human beings do not have capacity to visualize. We think in linear manner. So what is today will be quite different tomorrow. You see the manner in which the computing power at the heart of every machine is growing. Every 1.5 to 2 years is doubling. So what we see today may be quite different tomorrow, and very, very, very different 4 years later. So what all we just heard, data, digitalization, automation, or robotics. Basically, data is at the heart of every technology which we are considering right now. But then the complications come good data and bad data. So how to cull out bad data from the good data? Because whatever model we develop ultimately is going to feed on such data. So if it is going to be good data, good outcomes are going to come. If not so good data, then not so good outcomes are going to come. So there is no looking back from digitalization. Digitalization has to be accepted, embarked on by all the sectors, more so by the mining and metal sector.
All the gentlemen have spoken, and I, being an outsider to all this industry, my colleague in the IS fraternity and my predecessor Sanjay has spoken about the steel industry. So what remains for me to speak is finding it difficult to identify. So now, after serving as in the Ministry of Steel, I have moved over to a company called Nordic Infrastructure Consultancy. And So I will relate some experience and then based on that, let me develop my theme. So where this firm is now undertaking the digitization of the Bihar health system. And as you would be aware, and most of people are aware that in health systems in states like Bihar, which are not so advanced, face many problems of infrastructure, absenteeism of doctors, unavailability of medicines, and many such issues. Those issues need to be addressed by continuous system improvement. And we have now been able, with the leadership by the state government of Bihar, ensure that all the health facilities, right from the sub-center, which is the primary unit, to the district hospital, on a digital platform where the entire patient journeys of the patient from the time of registration to the point of his consultation with the doctor or her consultation with the doctor, and diagnostics and medicine dispensation, everything can be brought on an digital traceable platform. And you will be very happy to learn that while previous registration used to take place earlier at about 10:30 or so in the morning, now they are happening at about 9 o'clock or maybe 8:30. 8:30. The doctors on an average are seeing the patients at about 9 o'clock. So it's not because of the platform, but because of the people who are utilizing that platform. We are able to see what kind of drugs are being dispensed, what kind of drugs are there in the stock, what kind of medicines are being dispensed, how much of it is there in the stock, whether the diagnosis and the medicine dispensed are correlating with each other. The effects are there on the road, and it's linked with a contract system where the contractor is required to ensure that those defects are addressed in a timeline which has been defined in the contract.
And it also happens, we have driver fatigue monitoring system, where the alerts are generated depending upon the eye movement or the head movement of the driver operator. So you know that whether he is tired or he is in fatigue, and then you can take action so that you can ask him to get rest. But the number of data it generates is a shift for an operator comes around